site to get more information?
Sure. I want to let people know if they are interested in coming to the town hall, you can register to say that you're attending at savetheinternet.com/ABQ hearing. Or if you are somewhere else in New Mexico and you will not be able to get to Albuquerque, we have a number that you can call and leave a message. And if you can leave it within that 90-second frame, that would be great.
Okay.
And we will be downloading all of those messages and sending those to the FCC as well.
Oh, that's
that
great.
number is 505-609-8547. And that's a number that we've set up so that anyone can call in and leave a message if you can't be there. We also encourage folks who are coming to have your statement typed up so that you can also hand that in. And to ensure that everyone gets heard, if someone isn't able to get on the mic that night due to time, we are going to have a camera in the lobby, and we will be taking testimonies all night in the lobby. So some people may not want to get on the mic. Some people may have to leave early. So we want to make sure that we provide multiple ways for people to leave their testimony with the FCC.
Wow, I want to applaud you on the organizing. It sounds like you've thought about just about everything that needs to be thought about.
Right. There's also another aspect of this as well is that this here, quote unquote, we will be videotaping this whole thing and sending it out live. We will be streaming the entire proceedings that night, and in a little while here we'll show there's a certain URL that you have to go to pick this up, so you can actually tune into it, and we'll show that in just a few minutes on the screen. But so that the people who are not able to make it to the event and maybe don't have cable or whatever, they can if they have a strong enough broadband connection, they can watch the proceedings streaming, and we'll show that. Is that right there? No, that's not it. Okay, that's the other one. We'll show it in just a little while for those people who want to tune in by just watching on the internet.
Steve,
and we'll get that out to everyone we can, and there will be people probably watching this town hall from all over the country.
Are we going to be streaming it live?
Yes, we will be.
On that Tuesday night?
That's right.
Wow, for the whole evening?
Well, for as long as it goes on, the proceedings go on, we'll be streaming it. We'll be also taping the whole thing.
And for people who don't have cable, you can get us at quote-unquote.org, because we'll be live. We'll be live, and you'll be able to watch it on the internet. Right.
And I encourage the people who are watching to take down that website right there and find out more about this. So Andrea, what do we hope to get out of this event, this town hall on Tuesday? What are the goals to accomplish from this one evening?
We want to capture as many stories from New Mexicans as possible to inform the FCC on the issues of ensuring an open internet, getting them to reclassify the internet so that they can regulate and keep it open and create strong open policies. And we also would like to see the Universal Service Fund, which has often been, up until this point, has been solely used for telephones. So if someone can't afford a telephone connection or afford the telephone bills, there are different ways people can get subsidized for that. And we want to see that those same subsidies applied to broadband. We believe, as I've said, that it is incredibly important and fundamental now to people's day-to-day activities that it should be subsidized by the government, particularly by a government that has moved most of its services online. And the libraries know this more than most places because they have been stretched over the years as more and more people go to the library to use computer to access or monitor their immigration status, to get information on how to apply for food stamps, how to apply for housing. So these are all very real day-to-day issues, and essentially we believe that communications and the access to communication is a human right that everyone, and so therefore everyone needs to have access to this important tool.
Wonderful.
I was up in Shiprock a few weeks ago, and it just strikes me that they're just now getting an internet access on the res, so that students who are living out in the rural, outside of Shiprock and outside of all the little villages and towns on the Navajo res, on the Dene res, if we don't keep it egalitarian and accessible to all, certainly those people, they're more impoverished than, I mean, there's a lot of poverty on the res, huge amount of poverty. Right. It'll make it impossible for them, students to access, like you said, Andrea, the library system, and a lot of classes are being held on the internet, that people wouldn't be able to have access to otherwise.
Right, right. I think what we're dealing here, if I can intervene a little bit, I think we're dealing with the question of democracy in this country, essentially. When we're talking about egalitarianism and so forth, how can you have a democracy if there's a whole section of the population who just doesn't have access to the information they need, and therefore, at a disadvantage in not only their day-to-day lives and its services, but they don't have the same access to information to be able to even figure out what was going on in the election that happened a week ago. To understand what's happening in the country, because they just don't have as much information. We're seeing the breakdown as so many other forms of communication. The newspaper is going the way of the dinosaur, it seems to be. And if you look at cable news, it's basically mostly just opinion and propaganda.
Well, ambulance chasers.
Right, ambulance chasers. So what we're dealing with here is a lack of reliable information, and the internet has become the main source of reliable information for many people, not just in the United States, but all over the world. But we're seeing a stratification of that, where
class division.
Exactly, where fewer people will have that full access to the internet that they need. Andrea, could you talk to us a little bit? I know I had to run out here for a second, a little emergency. I'm not sure if you've talked about the coalition has formed in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, to deal with these issues. The Digital Justice Coalition. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, we aside from the fact that we're co-hosting this with our national partner organizations that I mentioned, we would not be able to do the work on the ground and locally without the support of the Digital Justice Coalition and our partners. And these are organizations that we've been working with over the past 2 years on various projects. The Basta Dobbs campaign, for example, our Responsible Speech campaign, and even many of the focus groups that we conducted, we did in partnership with these organizations. So many of those organizations, in fact, are in a meeting right now at Encuentro to finalize our last sort of 6 days of outreach. What are the next 5 days going to look like as we continue to do outreach here locally? And those organizations span a range of topic areas, and they each have different demographics. For example, we work with KUNM Youth Radio, and they have been a huge supporter from the beginning, and they will be attending the event next week. They've also blogged about it. They've had us come on and talk about the show. We also have huge support from Encuentro, who is hosting our Digital Justice Coalition meetings, and will be walking from their building that evening. They have 2 classes that are going on, and their plan is to have the 2 classes walk from Encuentro to the National Hispanic Cultural Center, which is just a few blocks away. We also have support from El Centro de Igualdad y Derechos, We are working with Young Women United, and of course, quote unquote, Channel 27 is also a member of the Digital Justice Coalition, and as well as we have support from the Media Arts Collaborative Charter School, and so there are many organizations, and what I think is interesting